Okay, cool. I think we are live. Let me know if anything doesn't work. We should be live and yeah, we should be fine. Alright guys, welcome on in. This is Link's Awakening Switch. We're gonna do an any percent run today. And yeah, that's gonna be a huge moncast because any percent in this game is an insanely hard category. But I'll do my best. And we're gonna explain it as we go. So let's just get right into it. 3, 2, 1. Wait. Why don't my timer work? That's weird. Let me just try another button. Okay. Never experienced this. It does work though. Like the button itself. Do I have a Okay, let me just try another button. Well, that's weird. For some reason, I can't get live split to work. I'm actually just gonna exit it. I mean, it's not fully necessary to have live split, but it sure is fun. So let's just see. I've never experienced trouble with live splits. That is so weird. It must... I'm not gonna spend too much time on this, but... no, let's just set another one. Like... Nah, it doesn't matter what I do. For some reason, it doesn't work. Well, I'll... guess we'll do this without a timer. that was very weird. I've never had trouble with that. Let me just try to open up another one. No, I don't know what's up. Well, we'll have to do it without a timer. Okay. So, yeah, let's just remove that. Okay. I guess we can look at the clock. That was very, very weird. Okay, let's go. 3, 2, 1. So I started 12-12. A really, really good run of this speedrun is like sub-hour. So anyways. Link's Awakening Switch. Released 20th of September 2019 as a full remake of the originals. If you played this game or the originals casually, you'd know that in order to beat this game, like normally at least, you will need to gather the ocarina, a song called Ballad of the Windfish, and you need to gather all the 8 instruments from all the 8 dungeons. And when you do that, you can approach the egg at the top of the island and play the Ballad of the Windfish together with all of the instruments. And when you do, the egg will crack open and you can enter end game of this game basically. And you can go in and defeat the final boss. Now, again, if you play this game casually, you would know that once you actually enter the egg, which is the end part of the game, you will enter a maze. And in order to get through that maze, you would have to collect the magnifying lens. Or the magnifying glass. And you would have to read a specific book in this library right here on my left now. And when you do that, that book will reveal the path of the egg inside of the egg. And then you can get through that labyrinth, basically. And get to the final boss, beat the final boss, and yeah, basically complete the game. It's not a charity marathon without technical difficulties. True. All it is what it is. If everything else works, I'm happy. If like sound is good and footage is good. I mean the timer, it's a shame, but it is what it is. And by the way, I'm gonna try to keep up with chat. I wasn't doing that in the very beginning. So, back to the game. So, we have... So, as we talked about, like, normally you would have to get this magnifying glass and read this book in the library to know the path of the egg, right? Now, this is a speedrun, right? So we want to do things fast, and getting the magnifying glass and reading a book, not generally very fast. So I think it was only a couple of weeks in, to be honest. Let me see if I can... I think it was actually only a couple of weeks in. Someone, I can't remember who, but someone found what we call egg manip. And how you do it... So basically what egg manip is that it's... you manip a save file so you would know the pattern of the egg. So you don't have to go and read the book. You don't have to get the magnifying glass. And you set up that file in a way so you always load up that new file when you do a speedrun. So you basically know the pattern. So how that works is that you are turning off your switch. Well, no, you're restarting your switch and you're turning on the game at a very specific time. And when you do that, you will always know which pattern you have in the egg. You will also know some other patterns, but egg is definitely the most important pattern. So, but it only works for that, though. It doesn't work for other RNGs in the game. It is only for a few things, including the egg pattern, luckily. So we do, we've already set that up. So the save file I loaded, I don't know if you noticed, but that was not a brand new file. It was actually a pre-made file. So you do that even before you start the speedrun. So we basically, right now, know the pattern of the speedrun. Or know the pattern of the egg, I mean. So we can just skip all of that, which is obviously very fast and useful. Now, if you've seen speedruns of like DX and the original Link's Awakening, you would know those games are pretty broken. You have something called like the doghouse glitch, where you can do, you know, you can basically skip most of the game, more or less. You can do ace, and just insane things. I think the speedruns are only a couple of minutes long for a couple of those categories. That is not a thing in this game, though. So in this game, we actually are completely forced to collect all the 8 instruments. And it's not going to be a normal playthrough at all. But we are forced to do quite a bit of stuff. That's why the speedrun is like almost an hour long. But yeah, we have to collect all the 8 instruments. And the ocarina, the Ballad of the Windfish. We need the Sword and Shield, actually. We already have it. We also need powder to defeat the final boss. There are definitely some requirements. With that said, though, that does not mean that we don't have glitches. There's a ton of glitches in this game. And any percent is a category that is generally The general view of this category is that it's a very, very tough category. And there are really, really good reasons for that. We're gonna get into the tricks eventually, which makes a lot of people avoid this category. Because some of the tricks are, yeah, very, very hard. And, I'm gonna try my very, very best to do all of the tricks so you guys can see them. But there is especially one trick that that I've been struggling with lately. I've been experiencing a little bit of burnout, but we'll come back to that. So, yeah. Anyways, now we're basically in the first dungeon of the game, and we are completely forced to enter this immediately because we have a very powerful item here. And that is called Feather. So Feather makes you able to jump. And by the way, this mechanic I just did now, every time you achieve something, the game will autosave, and it is very, very fast to just reload that autosave. And you will basically get back to the entrance like very fast. So we use that auto load mechanic a lot because the game saves like everywhere. So when I pick up this key, it's gonna save again. You can see it in the bottom right corner. There, I got a save, right? So now I could technically auto load again, and I would be at the entrance. Anyways, we just picked up Feather. Feather is a really, really broken item in this game. And it opens up, like, without Feather, you can't really do much in this game. This game is really built around Link being able to jump. If you can't jump, a lot of things gets really hard. So, and actually impossible. And also Feather opens up a lot of potential glitches we can do. As you can see here, we can't even, we can't get over here without the Feather, so you need it immediately. Now, we're gonna approach the first boss now. So, as you've seen so far, like the first 10 minutes of the game, generally a pretty casual playthrough. We try to speed up things, like slashing into spikes to gain some momentum. But generally, the first like 10 to 12 minutes, not a lot of glitches is happening. Because we're so... We gotta focus up here a little bit. Oh, well. Okay. Good. So, this guy can be really trolly. He can push you into one of the pits. It happens every now and then, so I just wanted to focus up. Yeah, but as I said, first 10 minutes, not a lot is happening really. So we just get the Feather, we defeat this boss, pick up our first instrument, but now the game is gonna start to pick up. The glitches are gonna start to come in more frequently. We're gonna skip a lot of things. But also, obviously, here comes the part of the speedrun where the difficulty also soars, so... So, if you play this game casually, you would know after the first dungeon, you have to do a side quest. You have to save Bow Wow to be able to eat a flower outside of the entrance to the second dungeon. And then you can enter the second dungeon, basically. We're gonna skip all of that. We want to be fast. So, we are gonna pick up this Kuko. And we're gonna do our first glitch of the game. So we are basically gonna be able to enter the second dungeon early. And by the way, I didn't talk about this, but I'm actually playing on the Switch 2. Switch 2 is generally faster with loading zones. It has less slowdowns. It doesn't lag anywhere, so it's generally the superior version. Okay, so this is bad RNG. Okay, cool, cool. Let's see if I can get this. There we go, got it. So basically what happened there is that when we held the Cuckoo, right? I'm just gonna focus up a little bit. There we go. And when you hold the Cuckoo, the like will swallow you, obviously. But if you do that in a very specific position, the like will eventually spit you out. Do I have to pick this up? I actually don't have to pick this up now. I'm gonna do it anyways. I've been doing a little bit of 100%, so my routing is a little bit, I guess, rusty for any percents. Anyways, yeah. So the like spits you out, right? But if you're in a very specific position there, the like will spit you out, but the Cuckoo, instead of like, so like normally the like will spit you up just straight up, right? But if the Cuckoo is in a very specific position, he will get stuck between the like and the tree. And what happens is that the like will spit out Link, but he will change the angle of how Link is spit out. So basically, he like will spit out Link like backwards because Link gets pushed by the Cuckoo. So that's how that works, and yeah, saves a lot of time. Now, our next big glitch is coming up. Let's see if I can actually do this. This is not easy to do, and it's also RNG. Okay, cool. Yes, we gotta run. Let's go. Whew. So, a lot of stuff happened there. So, you got this Hinox in this game. And we got a trick in this game. We're gonna do it 3 times. It is called a Hinox Warp. So, basically, this game is like really weird when it comes to Hinoxes. If you take damage and get grabbed by the Hinox on the same frame in this game, the Hinox will throw you extremely far. Like, very, very far. Why exactly on the bare details on why that happens, I am actually not 100% sure. I'm not sure if anyone knows fully what happens with the game, but something happens, clearly. And if you set that up correctly, you can get thrown to the instruments, just like we did right now. And obviously, that saves a lot of time, because, yeah, you don't have to fight the boss, we don't have to do the rest of the dungeon. But you may ask, okay, so what are we doing now? Why aren't we just leaving? Couldn't we just leave now and move on to the third dungeon? Well, the problem is, this dungeon contains the bracelets, which makes you able to lift things. So, we absolutely need that bracelet for a lot of things. But a very, I guess, ironic detail is that we can't even leave this dungeon without that, bracelet, actually. Oh, wait. Did we have Echo there? Crap. I hope we didn't do, but maybe we did. Okay, so we're gonna use the auto-load mechanic again. Okay. And let me know in the chat if anything is not working. So now we've completed Dungeon 1 and Dungeon 2. Now we're gonna go into this shop. And you may know that you can actually rob this guy. I probably... Yeah, I didn't do that correctly. Yeah, okay, cool. We got that. So, in this game, you can actually rob this shop, which saves a ton of time, obviously. Okay, we're good, we're good. Because if you don't rob this guy, you would have to gather like almost 1,200 rupees. And that is very, very slow. So we don't want to do that. But we need the shovel and we need the bow. So yeah, our option is to either gather 1,200 rupees or rob the guy. And yeah, in a speedrun, that is a simple decision. By the way, here we got another trick. So this trick is called Villa Skip. Saves a ton of time. So in a casual playthrough, you would normally have to go up to the Canala Castle. And, you know, do this whole side quest. You would also have to do the trade quest. Because to get to Canala Castle, you need to build a bridge. So you need a banana. You also, yeah, inside of the castle, you need to gather like 5 leaves, deliver them to the villa down here, to Richard, inside of this villa right here, actually. And then you can go from there and like dig up that key that we just did, or you can just do this trick and save like 5 minutes. So yeah, we're gonna do this trick. Pretty cool trick. Like you, basically, you just do that setup with the enemy, the pincer, basically, and you can actually get on top of him, weirdly enough. And if you do that correctly, it is decently specific. But if you do it correctly, that will you can basically just walk up. Oh, good, there we go. You can basically walk up on his back, and yeah, just jump on top of the trees and. You can do whatever you want from there. So, now we're inside of D3. So, you saw in D2, the previous dungeon, that we skipped the boss. In D3, we don't have a way to do that, unfortunately. I wish we had. It doesn't mean that this dungeon doesn't have a cool trick, though. We're gonna skip a lot of things in this dungeon, and it's coming up. In not too long, actually. It's a decently hard trick. I'm gonna do my very best to get it. So we're just gonna blow up that wall. Wow, he actually called me there. Okay, I'm gonna focus up here. This trick isn't very easy, but okay, cool. So basically what you do, you stand in a very specific position there. And then you pick up a bomb, you drop off the ledge, and then you can kind of hover in the air with the bomb. And when you do that correctly, you can get on top of those, like, small pillars. And then you can skip that mini-boss. And get our favorite item in any Zelda game ever. Yes, the item that actually speeds up our movement. And this item is also extremely useful for a lot of reasons that we are going to get into eventually. So, we're not going to do this. We're going to skip this boss again, and we're going to do this trick again. Good, got it. So, that is a pretty decently hard trick. I'm glad I was able to show it off. But with that trick, you can basically skip 4 keys. So normally, you would have to gather 4 keys in this dungeon. But if you do that bomb boost thing, there is another easier way to do it. But that bomb boost thing is like very cool, so I wanted to show that off. And it's also a very unique trick. Yeah, but basically you skip 4 keys and then you can get to the boss earlier and we can pick up the instrument and leave and go to D4, basically. Okay, we got fast RNG. Alright, let's go. So this is going to be our last heart container we're going to pick up in this category. It is possible to do with 3 hearts, but it's slower. So we actually need 5. Well, we don't need it, but it's faster for a lot of different reasons. It's going into a lot of details, but for the Hinox warps later, we really badly want some health. It's very, very useful. So anyways, so we're done with D3 now. We've gathered 3 instruments. We still don't have the Ocarina or the Ballad of the Windfish. We are going to pick it up eventually, though. Now we're going to move on to the 4th dungeon. But before that, we're actually going to pick up the Ocarina. So in 80%, we're not going to use the Ocarina. There are 3 songs in this game, but we're only going to learn 1 song. Because learning songs in this game is really not very fast. So we're just going to pick up that 1 song we absolutely need. And that's going to be it. So Dream Shrine, guys. We're going to go and dream within a dream. This reminds me so much of that movie Inception, like every single time. Every single time I enter there, I think of Inception. Such a good movie. Oh wow, cool. And here it is. So now with that, we're gonna move on and enter D4. Or the 4th dungeon, rather. So normally to enter D4, you would have to do a lot of side quests, like go and pick up the angler key, which is needed to get into D4. Well, it's needed unless you do glitches. If you do glitches, you can skip it. So we're gonna do something called the angler key skip. But first, we gotta pick up this medicine. So this medicine, I'm gonna get back to why we need it, but we basically need it for the final Hinox warp at the end of the game. It's basically because of the setup for that Hinox warp. Like every single Hinox warp is different from one another. So, and we need the medicine for the final one, unfortunately. But yeah. Okay, angler key skip. I'm gonna focus up here. This is pretty tricky. Got it. Let's go. First try even. Wow. So, obviously, as you could see, the waterfall doesn't have any collision. So, if you could just enter that platform down there, you can just walk into the dungeon. I'm gonna take it a little bit safe here. Same thing here. We gotta do the bomb balloon thing again. To get on top of this fence or these pillars or whatever. And then we can just pick up this boss key immediately. So that is pretty cool. Now, for this dungeon, this is the only dungeon we're gonna do this with. But for this dungeon, you really don't want to complete this dungeon. And why is that? Well, if you complete this dungeon, you will start a quest with a ghost. If you play this game casually, and you complete this dungeon, you would know that, oh well, good RNG. You would know that a ghost starts following you, a really annoying ghost. And you have to complete that, that side quest if it starts. So, we're gonna avoid that. We're not gonna complete this dungeon. Okay, good. I didn't talk about this, but this mini-boss is by far the hardest mini-boss in the game. Like stun-locking him, like we did there. It's a lot trickier than it looks. The timing is pretty strict, but we got it, so... Yeah, so again, we're not gonna complete this dungeon. We're actually just gonna move on. Using that save load or auto load mechanic to just get out of here. And we're gonna defeat the boss later. We did pick up the flipper, so we can move on though. Now, this trick coming up is by far the hardest trick in the whole game. It is hard to explain how hard this trick is. It's called early D6, and it is a monster of a trick. I can't really say for sure that I will get it. I might have to reroute. We'll see, guys. I'll try my very best. Oh. Yeah. I'll try for a few minutes. If I can't get it, I'm just gonna move on. Because I have been experiencing burnout a little bit lately, so I haven't been able to nail the trick anymore, unfortunately. And it just recently happened, so it is what it is. Yeah. So far, so good. Okay, we got it. Wow, wow. It is very, very hard to explain how hard that trick is. It is... I'm very, very happy we got it that fast. I was really not expecting that. As I said, I have been experiencing, like, burnout lately with speedrunning. But then I had this marathon, obviously, so I really wanted to do this, obviously. So... yeah. But basically what that trick is, it is not that complex to explain. But what you do, you get on top, you do that air climb that we did to enter D4, you know? We do that same air climb. And how that works is basically you're able to do a jump mid-air, and then you can jump back and re-grab the ladder, an invisible ladder. And for some reason, that makes you able to just climb an invisible ladder higher up into the air. And when you do, you can basically get on top of invisible walls. And for that early D6 trick, what makes that so incredibly tough is the fact that you have to jump from one wall to the next, to the next, to the next. And the only way to know how insanely difficult that is to try it yourself. Try it yourself. It is... because the invisible walls are so thin, and you need to get into the corners in order to be able to make a jump to the next one. It is insanely stupid. I've been spending so much time getting good at that trick, and I still struggle with it so much. I'm really happy we got it, so we could show it off there. There's not a lot of people in the world that can do that trick. There's only a handful. And it is very mentally draining to do that trick. Anyways, guys, so I didn't talk about the interior of D6. So this door frame in the beginning there, you could see me like floating up. I did a specific setup to get on top of the wall inside of D6. And basically from there, you can just, you know, basically just break the whole dungeon and then just pick up the instrument after. So, yeah. Why that door frame? It's basically a developer oversight. That door frame is very, very broken for some reason. It is the only one in the whole game that we know of, at least. So, yeah. So as you can see, now we're gonna do dungeon number 5. So we're not gonna do every dungeon in order. And after dungeon number 5, we're actually gonna do dungeon number 8, and then 7, and then D4. So they're gonna be out of order. That was decent RNG. That room can be very, very bad sometimes, but that was decent. So D5, this is the dungeon, guys, where we pick up the hookshot. Now, it is possible to skip the hookshot. It's not like fully required to beat the game, but if you don't pick up the hookshot, you are gonna have to do a couple of really, really hard tricks. And yeah, I did not do that in the world record. It doesn't save that much time either. So really not worth at this point, at least. So we're just gonna pick up the hookshot. The problem with picking up the hookshot... Okay, good, got that. Good. That was good RNG too. So the problem with picking up the hookshot is... Yeah, we're gonna get more into it, but we're gonna do a trick in this dungeon to get on top of walls. Getting on top of walls is the key in this game. Because if we do, we can skip a ton of stuff. But in this dungeon, we don't have a Hinox, so the way we're gonna get on top of walls in this dungeon, and we don't have a door frame that is not that is not broken either. So in this dungeon, you're gonna fight this Master Stalfos guy like 3 more times. You're gonna fight him 4 times in total, and whenever you fight him the 4th time, he's gonna drop the hookshot, right? And for some reason, in this game, whenever he drops the hookshot will actually be in the air. It will be in the air, and then it will drop down onto the floor. And because of that, we can place a bomb under the hookshot. To make the hookshot, like, bounce into the air. So it will bounce high up. And when we do that, we can go under it, do a very specific setup, clip into the hookshot, and then soar with it. It's called the hookshot rocket. It is a very unique trick, but if I can do that correctly, we will be able to get on top of walls, and we can just go right into the instrument room, skip the boss, and just pick up the instrument. So you saw me like doing a save there. Well, the reason for that is that if you fail, you only have 1 shot on this trick. If you fail it, you basically have to do the dungeon glitchless or casually, which is very slow. So I did make a save there. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can get it. This is decently hard too, so we'll see. Got it. Okay, cool. Cool. Yep. Good. Yes, as you can see, we're like dropping a bomb on the ground. The hookshot is bouncing up into the air. We're walking under the hookshot into a very specific position. We pick up the bomb at a specific time, so the bomb like clips into the hookshot, and then boom, we just soar. It's it's a unique trick, definitely. I'm glad we got it first try. So you may ask, okay, so why are we going back in? That's the problem. That's the only problem. This is obviously a huge time loss, but that hookshot is so important, and it makes the run so much easier. So we have to go back in. So when you use the hookshot to get on top of the wall, that hookshot actually lands like out of bounds, so there is no way to pick it up, unfortunately. Okay, let's see if I can get this clip here. Yeah, got it. So you can clip into that and just skip swimming through this 2D section. It's pretty cool. It's actually not that hard to do either. So now we're gonna warp to Sign Maze. And if you played this game on the old version, you would know that Sign Maze can be pretty tricky because of the screen transitions. Oh. But this game doesn't have screen transitions, so this is a lot easier on the Switch, definitely. So what you gotta make sure of here is just to read the signs in a specific order. And when you do that, you will open up a staircase. And down there is a couple of frogs that will basically play as a concert. And they will teach us the frog song, which is completely necessary for only one reason. Oh, that was actually right. I said earlier that we're only learning one song. That was wrong. Sorry. We're only skipping one song. We're skipping the Mambo song. The song that makes you able to warp, basically. We can't skip this song for only one reason. And that is to get the rooster. And there is only one reason we need the rooster. And that is to get the bird key. We're gonna get into more detail. But yeah. It is very unfortunate. If we could just skip that. So the D7 key, the bird key, to be able to enter D7 is completely mandatory. There is unfortunately no way to get that key early or to clip inside of the dungeon early. So we have to get this song, we have to get Rooster, and we have to get the bird key. If we could, in the future, actually find a way to skip the bird key, that would save a ton of time in this category. But unfortunately, we're gonna get into the details of that, but that seems to be pretty solid in this game. So now we have the frog song, now we're gonna pick up the rooster. So Rooster basically makes us able to fly in this game. Rooster is very broken. And now we're gonna pick up the one song we absolutely need in order to enter the egg. So, I haven't talked about, like, okay, but can't you just clip inside of the egg? Isn't that possible? So we could just skip all of this? Unfortunately, no. So you can actually clip inside of the egg. You can go out of bounds. We're gonna go out of bounds beside the egg, like in maybe like 10 minutes. And when you do, it is actually possible to clip inside of the interior of the egg. But there's no loading zone there. So you will just walk inside of the egg and nothing will happen. So the only way to trigger that loading zone is to have the ocarina, this song, and all the 8 instruments. The game will specifically check for all the 8 instruments. Okay. That was funny. I bonked, and yeah, I got punished for it. Okay, so now we're gonna do a trick called Flame Cave Skip. So normally in this game, you would have to pick up the mirror shield. Oh, okay, never mind. But we can just do this. Ah, I missed it. There we go. So normal in this game, you have basically called a flame cave to the right of us, which you normally need. You normally need the mirror shield and to be able to get through that cave. But with that trick we just did, we can just skip all of that. Oh wow. Oh, that was bad. Oh. Pretty sloppy fight, but oh well. Okay, we're good. Luckily I had health there. This guy deals 2 arcs of damage, so it's pretty easy to die to him. But I had health. Dude. Thank you. Okay. Now. This is always a lot of monk ass, because we got our second Hinox Warp coming up right here. And this is a frame-perfect trick. And this game runs at 60 FPS. So yeah, we'll see what happens. That was one. No. Crap, I took damage. Well, gotta reload. Yeah, so this might take a few tries. It is what it is. So basically in this game, you really just want to get as many runs up to this point as possible, and then just prage. Okay, we got it. Let's go. Wait, it randomly failed? Oh, that is so rare. Oh, that is so unlucky, guys. We got it. For some reason, it randomly failed, though. That is rare. I mean, it can happen, but it's very rare. Well, got completely scammed there. We actually got the frame. Oh well, it is what it is. That was 1 frame late. Yeah, so Hinox Warps are, yeah, they're just a mess. Ah, 1 frame only. Yeah, we don't have enough health. We need at least 3 hearts in order to survive this. Yeah. Okay, don't scam us again. Thank you. There we go. The menu lag on Switch 2 is so different. It's so slow for some reason. Okay, so as you can see, same thing here. We take damage from a bomb barrel in this time, and the Hinox grabs us at the very same frame. And what happens is that he just throws us. He throws us so far. And if you set that up correctly, you're gonna get thrown into this instrument room, and then you can just pick up the instrument. So luckily, we don't need the magic rod to beat the game. So we're just gonna skip that. Okay, let's see. We actually have perfect health, so that's good. Dude, wrong buttons. No, crap. Good, got it. So there we did something called a bomb clip. It is also unique in this speedrun. We're not gonna do that anymore. Or less than that one time. So there we basically, we were out of bounds. Just like behind the egg that I was talking about earlier. Good, we got that. Here is the only reason why we need a rooster. There is no way to get through this room without a rooster. And to get this Berkey. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Okay. Nice. We got a health. We actually needed that, so. Hey, we're gonna do an air climb with the rooster to get over here. This just skips this cave. There's really nothing more to it than that. And then we're just gonna skip some more caves by doing this. Air climbs in this game are insanely broken. You can skip so much stuff by doing it, so. Obviously, we want to do them as much as we can. Yeah, but as you can see, so this opens up D7. We need a key in order to open up D7. You can clip inside of this tower. I think it has been done, but again, it doesn't help us. Because the loading zone is not there, so. Now. We got the final Honix Warp. And this is the worst one of the Honix Warp. So early D6 is by far the hardest trick. In my opinion. But the problem with this Honix Warp is that it's frame perfect. Just like the previous one, the D8 one. But the big problem with this one is that you only have one try. Because here we need a medicine, and you only have one medicine. Oh. That might be late. Yep, I was late. Crap. It is what it is. Let's try again. So the only reason, the only thing you can do if that happens is reload. And obviously that's very slow. So, so I'm gonna try to go a little bit earlier. And by the way, I didn't talk about this. So here you do a skew. We haven't talked about skews in this game. So you actually only have like 8 directions in this game, obviously, when you move around. But if you jump and basically hold either left or right during the jump, you can get in angles between those 8 directions. And yeah, that's how you can... Come on, that's 1 frame early now? You have 3 frames, basically. Yeah, that's 1 frame early. I was trying to go a little bit earlier, but then I was too early, so yeah. Let's go, guys. Yeah, but obviously then you can get into the angles in between the 8 directions, and then you can hit this crystal. and just skip a ton of this dungeon. Okay, third try. Come on. Okay, that works. I didn't mean to do that. So obviously this is not fast because, yeah, you're gonna have to watch that cutscene, but it is what it is. It's fine. Okay, that will work. Okay, cool. Yeah. So this is the middle frame. We're gonna get a warp to Eagle now. So this is not the optimal frame. In order to get world record in this category, you would have to get 1 frame later, which takes you directly to the instrument room. But obviously that's a frame perfect trick, and you only have 1 try. So, yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I didn't hit him. Crap. You can skip this RNG cycle by doing that. Okay, 1 more. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so obviously, this fight isn't very fast. So obviously, getting warp directly to the instrument room will be faster. And the item in this dungeon is Mirror Shield, so we don't need it. We can just skip Mirror Shield. So we don't have to backtrack to get that item. That is not necessary. Alright. So if you got the perfect frame, you would warp into the left corner here, and then you could just pick up the instrument immediately. But at least you guys got to see the eagle fight, so. And you can, if you have perfect RNG, you can 3-cycle him, but yeah. So now, actually, we're gonna do D4. That's gonna be the last dungeon we're gonna do. Just like we talked about. So we really badly want to skip the ghost quest. So now we're actually gonna complete this. And the only hard thing about this dungeon is this horrible jump that is coming up right now. I hate it. It is a pretty tricky jump. Especially under pressure, if you're in PB pace. It is, ugh, I've never liked it. I always say this on my stream, that I have to do this horrible, horrible jump. There we go, I got it first try. So, there are other methods, but that is like the fastest method. Well, you can actually do a hookshot skew, but that is insanely tough to do, so yeah, I've never done that. But, yeah, got it first try, so that's good. Anyways, I'm gonna try to quick kill this guy. Good. That was good enough. We are not going to pick up this heart, though. We're just going to move on. Okay. And that is our final instrument. So, now we're gonna go to the egg, play the song, and defeat the final boss. And that's gonna be any presents. So, obviously, as you could see through the speedrun, we have a lot of glitches to, like, skip a lot of things. A lot of sequences. But we are not able to actually break the sequence of not getting Ocarina, Ballad of the Windfish, and all the 8 instruments. That is impossible for now. Maybe in the future we can be able to break it even more. Who knows? But So 80% is a very interesting speedrun in my opinion, but it is also insanely difficult. And I'm really happy it didn't, because this can get really, really bad very, very fast in a marathon setting like this. So I was actually very worried, but it went really, really good. Well, except for D7 and D8 Onyx War probably, yeah. It can always go better, obviously. But mostly, like, early D6 was actually pretty fine, so I'm happy. And here we are. So as I said earlier, it is actually possible to clip inside of this egg. But yeah, there's nothing there. The game specifically checks for all the 8 instruments, the Ballad of the Windfish, the Song, and the Ocarina. And once we have all of that, we can just get here and play it, and yeah, go from there, basically. So the final boss, like, when if you start out speedrunning this game, the final boss is usually a thing that is pretty scary, but eventually it gets pretty safe. It is not the hardest thing in the run. Absolutely not. Another thing I didn't talk about is actually version differences on Link's Awakening Switch. That is really convenient if you ever want to pick up a speedrun, like this speedrun. Because Nintendo really didn't patch any glitches for this game, like they did with Echoes of Wisdom, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. So it is very, very convenient to, like, pick up this speedrun. You can just download the game digitally, because digital is by far faster because of loading times. Everything works on physical too, but it's just slower because of loading times. So you can basically just download the game digitally and just start speedrun. So that is pretty convenient. So as you can see, since we don't have the lens, this area is going to be completely dark. Telling you that, yeah, it's impossible to get through this. Ruben, you got to get out of here and get the magnifying glass and read the book, but nope. We can do this. Let's go. Alright. Now we're just gonna defeat the final boss. And I didn't talk about those. But you know Aghanim from A Link to the Past? We got Aghanim in this game too. And yes, there's a lot of RNG. He can give you anything between 1 and 9 blue balls. And yeah, obviously, 9 blue balls is very, very slow. It is fortunately very rare. But getting 1, I feel like I never get 1 either, so... Even though 1 is technically the most common one. Oh. That one is so... It's so hard to hit, like, on the first try. Because he's so far away. So the first one will always be a red ball. Now it's completely RNG. That was a 1 blue ball. Alright. Alright. 2 blue balls. 3 blue balls. So this is getting into, like, bad RNG territory. Alright, I think it's 1 more red ball and then we're good. 3 blue balls is kind of very average, but... 4 blue balls. Yep. Fun. Alright, we're good. Let's move on. Let's go. That was a quick kill. Let's go. All right. Let's see if I can get the triple shot. That was 1. So if you get 2 triple shots, just like I did, you can skip a full cycle there. You can get a third one, but it doesn't really skip a cycle. It just skips firing one more arrow at the final cycle, which saves like, I don't know, 0.2 or something. Okay. So that is Link's Awakening Switch 80%, guys. That is it. A very, very tough speedrun to pick up. There's definitely reasons why not a lot of people picked this up. It looks like we didn't get sub-hour. We got very close, like a 100 or something, maybe 101. Thank you, Luna, I appreciate it. Yeah, so now basically, we've woken up the windfish that got us caught. Like, the windfish has this dream, and we got caught in the dream when you got hit by lightning in the very beginning of the game. Now, the windfish is waking up, and this whole island and everything, it just disappears. So that's the end of the game. So actually, in 100%, you have to do this first, and then go and complete the game 100%. But in 80%, obviously the game is over now. You're too fast. We're not supposed to start until 5. Yeah. I'm glad we got through the run though. Like we did, we got to show off everything. So if you consider like picking up this game as a speedrun, you can pick up any percents, but it's a tough category, very, very tough category. There are other categories that are a lot like easier to pick up. But yeah. And also, shoutouts to Piece of Heart project. I'm very happy you guys reached out to me so I could show off this. And yeah. Let's raise some money, guys. I also want to shout out the Link's Awakening Switch community. There is a Discord you could join if you want to get into this. A lot of cool people there. This game has so cool music too. I love the music in this game. And the end credits here are, yeah. The music is amazing. IMO. I feel like a lot of like Zelda credits are really good. Like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, you know, Wind Waker, like all of them are generally really, really good in my opinion. It's a shame. I don't know why the live split didn't work though. That was so weird. I've never had trouble with live split, but yeah, for some reason, it just didn't wanna split. So I guess that was the only thing you guys didn't. It's always cool to have the timer and the segments, and you can see what like how we're doing basically, but. Well, guys, that's gonna be it for me. I basically just woke up before the speedrun, so I haven't eaten or anything. I need to go eat. I don't know who's next after me, but I'm gonna let this credits play out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And I'll basically just end stream after that. So, yeah. Shoutouts to Piece of Heart. Thank you so much for bringing me onto this. I could show this off, and massive good luck to raising the money, guys. And yeah, thanks again. See you, Luna. All right, have a good one, guys.